What's up guys, JayzTwoCents here, and we're going to tackle a topic today, one that I definitely need to address in my new home here, and that is wireless networks. Most people are not fortunate enough to live in a home that has a pre-wired network because that's something that started around the early 2000s. Now, although I'm fortunate enough to have that in this new house, I still need to have a reliable wireless network. And because of the arrangement of this house, the wireless access point is quite a distance from some of the living space in the house, and I thought this would make a good video to show you how to get the most out of your wireless network using free tools that I have used for quite a while now. I've actually used this tool I'm going to show you today for years. With its specifically tuned copper base and maintenance-free plug-and-play operation, the EVGA 980 Ti Hybrid offers ultra-fast gaming performance at the lowest temperatures possible. Click the link in the description for more details. Now, even if you do have pre-ran network cable in your home or you ran it to the rooms that you have your computers in, it's still good to have a wireless network because of your wireless devices. You know, you've got your tablets, you've got your smartphones, your laptops, and you don't want to be tethered down to a wire if you don't have to be. And with wireless networking getting much faster, you know, AB in the beginning and then G was the shit, and then wireless N was like, oh my God, and now wireless AC is just that much bigger, badder, and faster with better coverage. You should have a wireless network in your home, and not to mention most of our routers have wireless capabilities, and ISPs are sending modems now that have built-in wireless AC in them as well. So why not at least get the most out of it, especially if it's already there. Now, just fair warning, this is going to be a multi-part video. I'm going to try and fit it in 2, but it might need 3 depending on how this goes. The first thing I'm going to show you in today's video is how to analyze your Wi-Fi, how to find your dead spots, and how to adjust your radio so that you can get the best signal when it comes to your wireless. Most routers you can just set to auto and it will auto set its signal, but as things progress and people open up new wireless networks in your neighborhood, signals might start to get jammed up and the auto isn't always going to change itself. So I figured today we will go ahead and show you how to change the radio and how to find the best channel. Now, one of the other things I'm going to be doing with the video as I move forward into the next part is going to be how to extend your wireless network, how to add access points that will extend your wireless so that regardless of where you go, it will just hand off to whatever the strongest signal is. And then the next part is going to be getting network down into my builder space, or my, as Jerry calls his maker space, but for me it's going to be my nerd space, I guess, is how I'm going to get wireless down in there, because there is no wired Cat5 in there, and I'm not going to be adding a wired Cat5 in there because I don't feel like snaking things through the walls. So I'm going to be doing a wireless bridge into there with obviously a built-in hub in the router. And because it's not going to be my main workspace, I can get away with the wireless, not to mention with wireless AC being all the way up to what, 1300 megabit per second. It's more than enough. And we'll talk about that at that video at that time. But anyway, today's tool I'm going to be using is free for anyone with an Android device. Unfortunately, at least at the time of making this video, this app, Wi-Fi Analyzer, is not available on iOS devices. But if you have an Android tablet or an Android phone, it's free. Head on over to the Google Play, download it. I've used it for years, and it's going to work absolute wonders for getting your wireless set up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm literally going to walk around the house with the camera, showing you how the app works, showing you how to identify your dead spots so that you can try to figure out where you want to either move your router to or add an access point if that's the route you're going to go. Now, just to recap, the reason why I'm doing this video is here is my Nighthawk X6, which is my router and wireless access point. But I actually never showed you guys what this looked like after it was all wired up. Not too bad. But anyway, this is on one extreme end of the house. And the problem with that is the other extreme end is going to get signal degradation because of all the walls in between it. Plus, this is on the second floor. And if you're on the far end of the house on the first floor, then you definitely aren't going to be getting the full benefit of your wireless. Okay, so the app I'm using here is called Wi-Fi Analyzer. When you open it up, you've got a kind of a menu here with a bunch of different views that you can use. The main view you'll probably use here is Channel Graph. This is going to kind of give you an idea of all the wireless networks in your area. And as you can see, we've got quite a few going on here, especially when you're on the upstairs of a 2-story house, because you get better reception the higher up that you go. So this wireless 24 gigahertz, or technically 2.4, but you can't use a decimal point in the SSID. That is my wireless right there. And I've also got another one, wireless 5 gigahertz. that is not going, it's for some reason not showing up. But anyways, I do have a wireless 5 gigahertz on here. Maybe this device isn't 5 gigahertz capable. I really don't know. View, you've also got your time graph. This is kind of showing you over time what the signal has been like. So if you wanted to keep this thing stationary in one area and let it run, you could see if your signal's kind of dipping down and coming up and dipping down. You've got here channel rating. This is showing you a rating of stars, the quality of the channels that are available. So as you can see, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stars. So you can see channels 2 through 9 right here, it's saying are just completely cluttered, don't bother using them. You can see channel 10, 11, and 12 right here have the best signal, 11 and 12 being the absolute best. Access point list right here, this is showing you the actual radio signal strength of dBm here. So you can see channel 5, which is what I'm on right now, 2.432 megahertz is getting a -42. It's actually pretty good because I'm very close to the router. The router is actually on that side of the wall right there. So I'm really close to it. You can see all the wireless networks in your area based on signal strength. One of the other views, which I just went to here, is signal meter. This is the one we'll be using here. It's also got a sound, which is really kind of annoying. It's a beeping sound that will speed up or slow down based on signal strength. And then this is right here where you'll touch and select the wireless that you want to check the rating on. As you can see, again, my wireless right here, because I'm only about, I don't know, 8 feet from it with one wall in between us, is very, very strong. And if I turn on the beeping sound again, you'll hear it's going to beep really fast. So what we're going to do now is we're literally going to walk around the house and kind of document where our strong signal is and where our weak signal is, because that's what we want to try and fix here, is the weakness in various dead spots of the house. Now there's lots of things that can actually cause interference with your wireless, especially 2.4 gigahertz. It's a very cluttered spectrum. There's lots of wireless routers on there, cordless phones, just all sort. It's like the old 800 megahertz was back when you had the original cordless phones. It just was super cluttered. Cell phones were using 800 megahertz. So then everything went to 2.4 and now it's cluttered and everything's moving up to 5 gigahertz. So you can kind of see a pattern there. So here's the upstairs family room, and like I said, on the other side of that wall right there is where the wireless is. So I would expect this room to obviously be pretty good. Also, please ignore the mess. We are still moving. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to stay on the upstairs here. We are going to walk back towards the bedrooms and see what kind of signal we're getting over here. Here is the office, which is a very bright room, huh? Which I expect to be pretty good. Yeah, we're still well up in the green. Not too concerned about that. Move back here to where the kids' bedrooms are, and as you can see, we're actually not getting too much degradation. This is little Jay's room right here. We are now about as far as we are going to be able to get from the router, and you can see we're still up in the green. It's not too bad. But one of the things I did for this video is I put myself on channel 5, which is cluttered, and I want to compare it once I move it to a less cluttered channel. So you can see right about here we dip down into the yellow. Not too bad though, could be worse. I'm actually going to attempt to navigate the stairs while holding the meter. If I fall down, it would make a pretty epic video, I'm sure. So as we come downstairs here, the TV's still on, I'm gonna have to take care of that. Okay, so here we are in the downstairs family room. As I pretty much expected, we've got full signal because we are literally right under it. The wireless is right up there. So because we are literally right underneath it, I expected the signal to be fantastic, which it is. And I was kind of curious as to how it would be, you know, with the floor in between us and some electrical wiring here with the overhead lighting. So let's go ahead and head here to the far side of the house and see if we start to get any real degradation. So here is the dining room. You can see we're dropping here a little bit. It's going to start to drop a little bit more rapidly as we get to the far side of the house where the playroom is and that sort of stuff. Still looking green though. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's really not. Drop down to right on the border there. Let's go over here to the office. What's going to be a front office that I have not even begun to get everything put together. But you can see it's really not that bad. So let's do this then. Let's go ahead and do a speed test and let's compare. All right, so I started up speed test here on the old iDevice, and so far it's stuck on finding the best server. Yeah, that's never a good sign. Anyway, let's see how we're gonna do here in the farthest point away from the router. And although we are getting a good signal, according to the Wi-Fi analyzer, as you can see right there, you can see that signal is only part of the story. If that signal is got a ton of other things being completely, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's being completely garbled by other radios stomping on top of each other on the same channel, then you get this. This is what appears to be a good connection. However, it is a dead spot. Really bad one. Okay, now let me show you guys what I mean here. If I now open up the app back in the kitchen, because we're right under the wireless, bam, it picked it up with no problem whatsoever. So if I begin the test, you'll see we'll get some pretty good speed here. It's preparing here, it's gonna test our ping. See, it's not acting funky at all. And you can see now we're getting 33 on the wireless. Now watch as we start to walk away. Look at this. You can see the degradation just falling, stuck at 14 at the moment. Okay, see? Now watch, the upload. See, back in the dead spot here. We have what appears to be good signal, but as we walk back over here, watch what happens. Wait for it. Oh, failed. So test again. All right, let's walk away. And you can see it just dropping off. Look at that. Look at that. So we have clearly identified a coverage issue here. Now, if the upload still works right here, nope, it's not working. Upload isn't working. Let's walk closer to the kitchen. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, see, it failed again. But now watch. If I don't move, you'll see everything's going to work just fine. Now look at the speed. See that? And the upload. It's not as fast as I used to get, but you can see I'm getting it. So, how do we fix that? Well, once again, we bring out our handy dandy signal tool. Now here's the thing. You might be going, but I got good signal, which could lead a lot of you to be blaming your ISPs, thinking, oh, we're getting terrible service. I've got good wireless, but the ISP keeps dropping. Well, no, what you have here is a strong signal that's being completely stomped on by other 2.4 wireless that is messing up your actual data being sent to your device from your router. It's kind of like when you have, you're in range of 2 different radio stations in the car at the same time and they start kind of walking on top of each other. That's what's happening here. So let's go ahead and do this then. So we're going to go to our view, we're going to go to channel graph. Well, look at that. We've only got one router chilling over there. But as you can see right here, my router has about the same signal strength as 3 other routers in the area. The Asus, the Netgear, and the Summer. So these 3 right here are what's causing me the problem. But you can see, we've got a lot less going on over here on the right. So let's go move the channel. Let's move it over to channel like 11 or 12, and let's see what happens. And we'll rerun the test. Okay, so now as you can see, I moved my router over to here, and to do that, you just have to go into your router's wireless settings and change the radio channel for your router. So you're going to have to go into your own manual and figure out how to do that. Now, something important to point out here is I want you to notice that our signal strength is a little lower than it was before we changed the channel. Now here we are in the same room, same router. All we did was change the channel. If we open up speed test now, you can see, look at that. Immediately it recognized the server and gives me the begin test option. Now that's already better than we were getting before because we couldn't even get the app to recognize that it was online, let alone actually start a test. So now for ping, we're getting 19. And yeah, we're not getting the greatest signal here. We're still only getting what? 5 megabits of my 60, and it's dropping off a little bit down into 4.5, back up to 5. But the important point here is that by doing nothing but changing the channel, we were able to get a good signal because we don't have all those routers stomping on each other. So there you go. So you can see we're now connected in this room, which before we had nothing whatsoever. And we didn't change the location of the router at all. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Now there's a few things you can take away from this video. One, there's no replacement for having a properly placed wireless access point. And in this house, that would have been probably in this office because it's very centralized above the middle of the house and as high as it can possibly get. Now, if you're like me, where you're kind of stuck where the placement of the patch panel on the house was poorly placed in the master bedroom closet, which a lot of them seem to be, then you're kind of stuck with mounting it over there. Now, sure, I could have turned one of those leads into this office into basically a feed to the router and then had it basically another feed going back to the patch panel, but that would have been a nightmare because none of these rooms actually have 2 Ethernets running to it like a lot of newer houses do. This one only has 1 going to each room, so that wasn't going to be possible. So the next thing that you could do to fix this problem is add a second access point. Now, there's a lot of access points that are available out there, very easy to set up. Things like Ubiquiti have power over Ethernet where you literally just plug the damn thing in and that's it. It's easy to set up and you can place them all over your house and have literally no dead spots. And I would like to do something like that in the future, but for right now I do have the ASRock gaming router, the wireless AC 3200 router, where I'm going to be hooking that up on the other end of the house, which again is not necessarily the most ideal, having one access point on one extreme and the other on the opposite end. Maybe I'll put it in this office. That might actually work because I do need a switch in here, and we'll kind of see how well that works. But the nice thing about having the wired Ethernet in the house like this is that I can move it around and see where it gets the best coverage. So apps like this can help you at least identify where your dead spots are when it comes to your wireless, because as I showed, you can show that you have strong signal, but it doesn't mean you have good data transfer. It's being completely stepped on by all of those other routers. So if you've been dealing with good connectivity, but poor speeds for your wireless, there's lots of things that could be interfering. Use an app like this, identify other networks in your neighborhood. You might be surprised just how many there are. This house by itself is running 3 wireless networks. It's got a dual 5 gigahertz radio band as well as a 2.4 gigahertz. But at least if you can identify what's happening and change your channel of your wireless, you have a good chance of at least getting some of the dead spots with okay connectivity when it comes to data, and then adding other access points or moving your router. You can also use this app to move your router and find the best location for your wireless. I hope this video has helped you guys. It's something I've always struggled with dead spots in homes and stuff, and I've always used this app. I've used it at work when we were setting up wireless in offices when I worked in IT. It is free, not sponsored. This is just an app I've always used, and I think it's fantastic. Unfortunately, not available on Apple, like I said. Google Play is your only option. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think. Let others know your tips and tricks when it comes to setting up your wireless access points. And as always, guys, I want your suggestions on the types of videos you want me to cover, because if it pertains to you, it pertains to somebody else, and it could be beneficial for the masses. All right, guys, time to get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next Jay's 2 Cents video.